The day before the engagement, my best friend Sabrina sent me a message. Alara, Caleb won't be attending the engagement party tomorrow. Just wait and see you embarrass yourself. I was confused and asked for more details, only to see that she had sent me another photo, this time of my fiancé Caleb in bed with her. Shortly after, Sabrina updated her Facebook. In the photo, Sabrina and a man were holding hands tightly. On the man's ring finger was a simple silver band. That was the token of love between Caleb and me. Now he was holding another woman's hand while wearing our token. I finally made up my mind, I don't want this man anymore. I blocked all their contact information and broke up with this man. Later, standing in front of Caleb with my pregnant belly, he looked at me with red eyes and asked, Alara, will you come back? I'll raise the child too. When Sabrina sent the photo, I was at home chatting with my parents. It should have been a warm moment, but when I saw the photo, it felt like a thunderclap. For a moment, my ears rang loudly, and I could no longer hear any other sound. At this critical moment, I just hoped it was a prank. My heart was pounding wildly in my chest. Stiffening my body, I returned to the room, closed the door, and kept calling Caleb over and over again. But I couldn't get through. At first, it was the other party is on the phone. Later, it changed to the user you are trying to reach is turned off. I could no longer hold on and collapsed onto the carpet. Mom and Dad noticed something was wrong with me and cautiously asked what had happened, causing their daughter, who had just been smiling brightly, to suddenly turn pale. There was no other way, with the banquet imminent, I had to lay everything out. I regretted not seeing people clearly and being friends for so many years with such a scheming bitch, and I regretted even more not listening to my parents' advice and insisting on being with Caleb, that scumbag. After hearing this, Mom was silent for a long time, then sighed and said, Alara, luckily she couldn't help but provoke you before the wedding, otherwise, after the wedding, my darling would have suffered even more. Dad also looked serious. Alara, don't be afraid. With Mom and Dad here, we are your strong backing. The next day, guests from both sides arrived as scheduled, but the engagement banquet was changed to a housewarming party celebrating my move into a new home. It turns out that my parents never really approved of Caleb, but they couldn't go against me and reluctantly agreed. Worried that I might not have a good life or be mistreated by my in-laws, they secretly bought a house and put it in my name, so that if I ever had a fight in the future, I would at least have a little place of my own. At 11 in the morning, Caleb's parents arrived late. The first thing they did upon entering the banquet hall was to accuse us. What have you done? How did my son's engagement party get turned into a housewarming party? Caleb's mother, Denise, had never liked me before, but for some unknown reason, she suddenly agreed to our marriage. Seeing her like this now, I felt no emotional stir. After all, I had long anticipated it. Seeing that I was indifferent, she seemed to make some concession and turned to attack my parents. Even if the child is immature, why are you two old folks causing trouble too? At this moment, Caleb's father Edgar frowned and stood aside, not intending to step forward to stop it, looking completely indifferent as if the one throwing a tantrum in front wasn't his wife. I had been silently watching all along, but now it seemed I finally understood something. It turns out that when marrying, you can't just look at the person, you also have to consider their family. This saying is truly correct. Last summer, Caleb and I planned to go on a trip. When Sabrina found out, she pitifully begged me to take her along. I softened and finally agreed with gritted teeth. Then I went to persuade Caleb, who was very unhappy about it and only agreed after I begged him for a long time. On the day of the trip, Caleb bought some fruit and encountered a dishonest scale. He angrily complained to me, and Sabrina added fuel to the fire beside him. I couldn't stand it, so I argued with the shop owner over the fruit while the two of them just stood behind watching the show. As a result, more and more onlookers gathered, and Caleb felt embarrassed by me. He left me alone in that unfamiliar place and took Sabrina to the mall to enjoy the air conditioning. In an unfamiliar environment, I stumbled along, almost suffering from heat stroke. Fortunately, I still managed to find them. But Caleb found me crude and embarrassing. How did Sabrina handle it back then? She looked timid, tugged on Caleb's sleeve, and whispered, Caleb, don't be angry. Alara didn't mean it, she just used the wrong approach. Please forgive her for my sake. My face was covered in sweat, sunburned red, and I looked miserable. Meanwhile, she appeared shy, with delicate makeup, standing gracefully. Perhaps this was when Caleb began to pay attention to Sabrina. Yet I foolishly thought Sabrina was acting for my good and felt deeply grateful. Denise's sarcastic remarks can't hurt me, but my mother can't stand anyone speaking ill of me. That statement isn't right. How could it be us causing trouble? It's not that you guys are messing around, those arrangements must have sprouted wings and flown away. Denise continued her attack. Her sharp voice pulled me back to reality. At this moment, many guests in the hall were watching us, and I felt a chill on my scalp. My reputation was fine, but I cared about and cherished my family, so I had a weakness. I was just afraid that my recklessness would bring shame to my parents. The voices of others discussing drifted into my ears. Oh dear, what's going on? The engagement party has turned into a housewarming party. And I don't see Caleb anywhere. I'm telling you, before, Caleb's mom never liked this daughter-in-law. Who knows what might be going on? The murmurs kept swirling around me, growing more intense. My nails dug into my palms, burning with pain. But until I was sure whether Caleb had cheated, I couldn't speak recklessly. The feelings built over these years couldn't be faked. No matter what, I had to get through today first. I stepped forward, shielding my parents behind me. Auntie, I have my reasons for doing this. Who wouldn't want a perfect engagement ceremony? Right now, the most important thing is to get in touch with Caleb. These words successfully shifted everyone's attention to Caleb. It was like waking from a dream. They suddenly remembered the other main person wasn't here. As if my words had hit a nerve, a few traces of guilt flashed across Denise's face, and she hurriedly lowered her head to hide it. Reading this far, what else could I not understand? I'm afraid that from beginning to end, only I was kept in the dark. No wonder every time I went to see her, there was always a hint of disdain on her face, yet she still carefully accepted the gifts I prepared one by one. No wonder she always said, both openly and secretly, that she liked gentle and sensible girls. It turned out she was talking about herself. At that moment, Edgar seemed to have something urgent and hurried over, whispering something into Denise's ear. I saw Denise's eyes glance over the letters behind me, then sneak a look at me, stiffly switching to a smile. Look at the mess this has caused. If it's changed, then it's changed. From now on, we're one family. Alara, whatever you want to do is fine. Both Edgar uncle and I will listen to you. I turned to look at the words behind me, and for a moment it felt like something flashed through my mind. Fortunately, they didn't plan to keep making a fuss. After today passes and everything is settled, it won't be too late to talk about it. Until the banquet ended, there was no sign of Caleb. Denise, on the other hand, was quite enthusiastic, accompanying everyone with drinks and smiles throughout. On the surface, this housewarming party seemed lively and bustling, but in reality, it felt like my parents' backs were about to be pierced through. At 3 in the afternoon, Caleb arrived at my doorstep, reeking of alcohol and gasping for breath. I opened the door and let him in. As soon as he entered, he dropped to his knees with a thud and apologized to my parents. Uncle, Auntie, I was wrong. After saying this, he gritted his teeth and slapped himself twice. I stood coldly to the side, ignoring him. My parents also turned their bodies away, refusing to accept his kneeling. After slapping his face, his gaze turned to me. This is when I was pleading for mercy. In the past, when he knelt down, I was the one who pulled him up. Before, my parents didn't approve of him, but I was the one who insisted. Especially my dad, who often showed him a cold attitude, and I was always the one to mediate. I even argued with my dad several times for his sake. Even my usually good-tempered mom said I was being selfish. Unexpectedly, before we even got married, he dealt me a blow first. Seeing that I still hadn't responded, Caleb continued, "It's all my fault for being too happy last night. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd have a little drink to help me fall asleep, and I ended up drinking some of my dad's homemade liquor." At this point, Caleb's voice grew softer. "Who knew that liquor was so strong? I just slept until now. Uncle, Auntie, Alara, I know I was wrong, please forgive me, I really didn't mean to." Caleb kept his head down, his fists clenched tightly. My parents still said nothing. This stalemate wasn't going anywhere, so I took the initiative to speak. Dad, Mom, let me talk to him. After I spoke, my mom nodded. I got up and went outside to wait for him. After the sound of fabric rustling, the door was gently closed. I took a deep breath and pulled out my phone before he could say anything. I have a picture here, take a look before you speak. He took the phone, glanced at it, and after seeing the photo, his eyes widened. Shock and fear flashed across his face, then quickly turned to anger, and he threw the phone back at me. I didn't expect him to throw my phone, so I quickly reached out to catch it. What do you mean by this? Using this picture to slander me? No wonder your family changed the engagement banquet into a housewarming party. I didn't expect him to turn things around at this moment, blaming our family for his own mistakes. He doesn't show up and still blames me? Does he think I haven't made enough of a scene? Does he have to see me utterly humiliated on stage before he's satisfied? I sneered coldly, about to speak. But he was so angered by my sneer that he lost his composure. I knew your family looked down on me. I've already knelt down, can't you calm down now? Don't you know that beneath a man's knees lies gold? These words were almost shouted. After venting, Caleb turned and walked away. Looking at his back, I bitterly thought, how many times over the years has he been sincere, and how many times has he just been enduring? It was only at this moment that I realized, whether this matter is true or false no longer matters. Our relationship has come to an end. Shortly after Caleb left, Sabrina sent a photo. The photo showed Caleb's back. She couldn't wait a moment longer, eager to assert her claim. Immediately following was a message, so what if you two have been together for so many years? In the end, it can't compare to his feelings for me. Didn't she plan it all carefully? But what difference does it make? I'm still the one who got abandoned. My heart felt hollow, leaking air everywhere. I clutched my chest, gasping for breath. One was a friend I truly cared about, the other was the boyfriend I adored. Both were once the closest to me, yet now they hurt me so deeply. But I'm not someone who passively endures suffering. Those who betray me, I want nothing to do with them. Having my loving parents is enough. After that unpleasant breakup, Caleb didn't contact me for a whole month. This is his usual way of doing things. In the past, every time we argued, I was the one who would lower myself to appease him. But from now on, I never will again. A lover should love themselves first. I will slowly learn to embrace myself. I quickly adjusted my mindset and focused my energy on work. Caleb and I work at the same company as designers. Over the years, for his sake, I have always prioritized giving him my design drafts first. As a result, his position with the leadership is higher than mine. Now, for a whole month, I haven't given him any design drafts, and his condition is visibly deteriorating. A few times, I've even heard him being scolded by the leaders. Finally, one noon, he couldn't stand the leaders' barrage anymore and came to find me. Now that you're no longer angry, let's make up. I won't hold it against you for wrongly accusing me. I looked at his confident expression and suddenly burst out laughing. Not only am I not less angry, but you actually made me laugh out of anger. Caleb was stunned and after a long pause said, "What?" I slightly raised my head. Your ear's not working well? Have you been scolded by the leader too much? Seeing me so relaxed, he suddenly got angry, his face turning bright red. Elara. Don't shamelessly take advantage of my kindness. Shameless? Does he think I'm still the same Elara as before? A vague and ambiguous sentence is enough to make me bow and scrape. I won't accept the face you give me. Please don't come looking for me anymore. This is where we end. After I finished speaking, I was about to leave, but Caleb suddenly laughed. His laughter was wild. I looked at him with suspicion. He became even more smug. Stop playing these teasing games, I'm not falling for your tricks. His nerve was truly something else. Seeing him like this, I lost the will to continue talking and turned to leave. Suddenly, Caleb grabbed my arm from behind, refusing to let me go. Stop making a fuss, Elara. Just take the way out I'm giving you. If you miss this chance, don't come crying to me. I stumbled back 2 steps from his grip, steadied myself, and looked up at him. Who exactly is begging whom? I was finally angered by Caleb's shameless behavior. You lack design drafts, but I don't. You were fooling around with women before your engagement, but I wasn't. So tell me, whose fault is it really? He showed a hint of shame on his face from what I said, and I continued to scold him. Don't be so thick-skinned. I even find you disgusting. Don't be quick to deny it. Do you think I would be so confident if I had no evidence? At this moment, my face must have been flushed red because I felt my cheeks burning. Caleb across from me was momentarily stunned. I guess he had never seen me lose my mind like this before, and for a moment, he was frightened by me. I was gasping for breath, my eyes fixed on him fiercely. He was stunned for a moment, then said, finally coming to your senses. His eyes darted around nervously, clearly feeling guilty, and finally he pointed at me. You really are unreasonable. With that, he fled in panic. I scoffed, thinking to myself how I ever liked someone like him. I really can't empathize with my past self. I'm kind of thinking about quitting my job. It's really important to get away from these annoying people and things. At the very least, I need to keep a happy mood. My mind was all over the place, and time flew by. At night, after finishing a day's work, I collapsed on the sofa scrolling through my phone. Suddenly, I received a message from Sabrina. So annoying, those two are really a perfect match. They even plan to cause trouble on the same day. I tapped the screen hard a few times, secretly cursing in my heart. I want to see what kind of nonsense she's up to this time. I opened the chat window, and a video was sent from the other side. I stared at my phone for a moment, then decisively clicked to play it. The video seemed to be secretly filmed, dark and blurry. Someone was talking, but the voice was very low. I turned the volume up to the maximum. Son, listen to your mom. Alara's family is wealthy, and they only have this one daughter. When her parents get older, won't all the family money be yours? Just look, a few days ago they even bought Alara an apartment. Oh my God. Just stop talking. Now her damn parents are completely ignoring me. Alara is getting harder and harder to fool, she's breaking up with me, and now she won't even deliver the design drafts. I couldn't take in anything after that, my ears buzzing. Big tears dropped onto the phone, causing the video to pause because of the tears. This is the truth. How could the truth be like this? It turns out that besides Caleb's mother, Caleb himself has been deceiving me all along. So what does our relationship over the years mean? Was it all fake? Was I the only one deeply involved while everything else was a lie? Now I finally understand what that fleeting moment during the engagement party was all about. It was nothing but a complete joke. My phone vibrated, I wiped away my tears and looked down. I thought your relationship was so deep, but it was all fake. Poor you, all those years of your youth wasted for nothing. Looking at these words, Sabrina's contemptuous expression seemed to appear right before my eyes as well. Wasn't it all wasted for nothing? I should thank you for letting me see his true colors. The other side showed typing, but no message came for a long time. She probably didn't expect me to have this attitude. Don't worry, I don't want this man anymore, he's yours. I hope this lesson I gave you will stay in your heart, so you won't repeat my mistakes. After sending these, I ignored the other party and blocked both her and Caleb. Let this be a farewell to the past, to the people and things before. Fortunately, I had already planned to give up on this man long ago, so it doesn't hurt as much now. Just a few years of youth, not a lifetime. There's still time for everything, I will have a beautiful future. It's inevitable to run into Caleb at the company, which is quite annoying, especially since we're in the same department. I'm just afraid he hasn't given up and might try to steal my achievements. The thought of resigning lingered in my mind. Early the next morning, I placed my resignation letter on my boss's desk. Over the years, all my design drafts were handed over to others to use as their own, and I had no achievements to show for it. Unsurprisingly, my resignation was quickly approved. I also asked my boss not to inform others about my departure. Considering my long and diligent service, the boss agreed, but I still needed to stay for 3 more days to hand over my work before leaving. Just 3 more days of endurance, 3 days. 3 days before resigning. The company sent a new intern to hand over the work. The intern had just graduated from university, full of youthful energy and vitality. Looking at him, I seemed to see the Caleb of the past. Just as sunny and cheerful, shyly blushing even after saying a few more words to a girl. But such a graceful young man could also deceive himself for money. It seems I never truly understood him. Maybe he was never as pure and beautiful on the surface as he appeared. 2 days before resigning. I silently cheered myself on, still needing to endure the last 2 days. Today, I continued handing over work to the intern. Unexpectedly, Caleb came to disturb me again during lunch. He looked furious and shouted at me to go outside and talk. I didn't want to have any contact with him, but I knew his nature, he wouldn't give up until he got what he wanted. Reluctantly, I had no choice but to go out with him. Once outside, before I could even steady myself, he launched the first attack. "No wonder you're so eager to break up, you've already found someone else, haven't you?" I actually wanted to agree just now. Now, all I feel for him is pure disgust. If I can make him angry, that would be the best. "What do you mean by that?" I frowned, gave him a disdainful glance, and continued, as expected, people with dirty hearts see everything as dirty. I only got involved with him because of work. Don't think everyone is like you, who likes to mess around. Caleb's expression softened a bit after hearing me. Do you need to stare at his face blankly just because you're working together? Isn't it just that you want to say even what I see with my own eyes is wrong? Staring blankly at his face? It must have been yesterday when I recalled the old Caleb through the intern and he saw me. How ridiculous. He was only with me because he valued my family's wealth. Now that we've broken up, you come back with this nonsense again. What? You can sleep with another woman the day before the engagement, but I can't look at a handsome guy? Besides, we broke up long ago. What right do you have now to question me? Who agreed to break up with you? I never said anything about breaking up. Once again, Caleb's actions shattered my worldview, and I looked up at him in surprise. Thinking about how he could even cheat, what kind of good person could he be? Calmly, I looked into his eyes and replied, then I'll say it seriously to you now. I, Alara, have decided to break up with you, Caleb. From now on, we will never have anything to do with each other until death. He seemed frightened by the harshness and seriousness in my eyes and was momentarily at a loss. Taking advantage of his stunned state, I turned and left. Behind me came Caleb's reckless roar, "Fine. If you have the guts, Alara. I hope I never see you in front of me crying and begging me to marry you." Listening to his voice, I curled my lips into a smile. Not anymore. I, Alara, can pick up and put down. After work in the afternoon, my mother called, urging me to come home quickly, saying that the neighbor boy I liked most when I was little had returned. I understand what Mom means, she doesn't want to see me continue to be stuck in my previous relationship. But I need some time to slow down. Matters of the heart aren't something you can control just by being more rational. In the end, I couldn't bear to see my parents worry about me, so I went home early. As soon as I pushed open the door, I could feel the lively atmosphere inside. Everyone looked at me and called me over with smiles. Surrounded by this warm atmosphere, I felt a long-lost excitement stirring inside me. As soon as I sat down, Aunt Nora teased with a smile, "It's been years since we last met, and our Alara has grown into a young lady, getting more and more beautiful." I smiled with my lips pressed together, and Mom chimed in at the right moment. "That's right, and don't forget whose daughter she is." Aunt Nora laughed and scolded, "Look at you, still the same as always, so proud." I wasn't even complimenting you. Everyone burst into laughter, and this bout of laughter pushed the atmosphere to become even more lively. I laughed along, my eyes shifting, and my gaze landed on the handsome guy next to Aunt Nora. He looked gentle, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth, his eyes hooked on me like a lure. I felt a bit flustered under his gaze, my eyes darting away, finally resting on Aunt Nora's teasing smile. Then, Aunt Nora started introducing him to me. "Alara, do you still remember your brother Silas? When you were little, you two were the best of friends, always stuck together every day." My mom seemed to catch some signal and joined in. Yeah, when you were little, you used to follow Silas around everywhere, not even coming home. Heat rose to my face. I opened my mouth to speak but didn't know what to say. At that moment, Silas put a rib into Aunt Nora's bowl. Mom, try this rib. Isn't it the flavor you always talk about? Aunt Nora moved her gaze away from my face and lowered her head to eat the ribs. Still the same taste, your uncle's cooking just keeps getting better. Everyone's attention was drawn to the ribs, and I cast a grateful look at Silas. Silas and my family have always been neighbors. We grew up together, and calling us childhood sweethearts wouldn't be an exaggeration. His family moved away when I was in high school. At first, we still kept in touch online from time to time, but later, because of school, I gradually lost contact with Silas. Now, seeing each other suddenly, there was more or less some awkwardness. Especially since he looks much more handsome than when we were kids, making my face flush and my heart race. Compared to that jerk Caleb, Silas is miles ahead. I really wonder if I was cursed back then. After a lively meal, a few of them put down their chopsticks and agreed to go for a walk outside, leaving behind a mess for Silas and me to clean up. As the door slammed shut with a bang, the lively atmosphere faded away, and for a moment, it became so quiet that I felt like I could hear my own heartbeat. Silas sighed, rolled up his sleeves, revealing his well-toned long arms, and began to clean up the dishes. I felt embarrassed just standing there, so I quickly got up to help. But he wouldn't let me, insisting that I sit on the sofa, repeatedly saying, "In our family, men do the housework." I was puzzled, isn't this my home? In the end, I couldn't argue with him and didn't persist. But I couldn't just sit on the sofa playing on my phone so comfortably, so I stood nearby to keep him company and chat. Looking at his upright figure, wearing the pink floral apron my mom bought, it was quite a contrast. It made my mouth water. Handsome guy, who wouldn't love him? On the day I resigned, I waited until after work, when everyone had left, before I started packing up. Over the past couple of days, I had already brought home some small miscellaneous items bit by bit, so packing up today went quickly. Caleb was unusually well-behaved all day. I was afraid he might come over to interfere at the last minute, so I only started packing after he left. I really couldn't be bothered dealing with him. He truly doesn't care about me at all. He didn't even notice the changes at my workstation these past 2 days. I don't know whether to feel relieved or sad about that. It took me about 10 minutes to finish packing. Holding my cardboard box, I took one last look at the company and strode away. Downstairs, Silas was waiting for me in the basement. When he saw me, he came over and took the box. "Congratulations on regaining your freedom, no longer a worker bee. So, how about celebrating tonight?" I was wondering how he found out about this news, and he seemed to read my thoughts. "Auntie told me and even called me over to comfort you." "Alright, it's just like my mom's style." But I was thinking the same thing, so I agreed to his invitation. "Sure, we definitely need to celebrate." Silas raised his eyebrows and asked, "The usual place?" His sudden words slowly unlocked my long-buried memories. When I was a kid, I was quite greedy and often coaxed Silas to take me to eat delicious food. Fortunately, both our families were well off and we had plenty of pocket money, so we often went out for big meals to treat ourselves. I especially loved hot pot, and we often went out on weekends to eat seafood shrimp hot pot. Silas originally couldn't eat spicy food, but I had led him to develop a stronger taste. Later, Silas's family moved away, and my studies became heavier, so we ate out much less. After that, I met Sabrina and got together with Caleb. Neither of them could handle spicy food, so to accommodate them, I stopped eating those dishes altogether. Suddenly recalling it now, my mouth is watering. I agreed. "Alright, the usual place." The car drove into the mall's underground parking lot, and we got out to wait for the elevator. "Elara, why are you with another man? How can you go on a date alone with another man?" The voice was my former best friend, Sabrina. I rolled my eyes and turned to look at her, holding back my anger. "Who I go on a date with is none of your business. Aren't you also dating other men? That's not the same. You're about to get engaged, how can you still act like this?" She looked shocked, as if I had done something utterly outrageous. It seems Caleb never told her we broke up, she still thought their relationship was great. Turns out, it was nothing special after all. We've already broken up, what engagement are you talking about? I sneered, my expression surely begging to be slapped. What? Didn't he tell you? As I spoke, I looked her up and down with full malice. At that moment, Caleb couldn't stand it anymore, stepping in front of Sabrina and confronting me. Alara, how come I never realized you were so shameless, mean, and selfish? Seeing this, Silas stepped forward 2 paces and shielded me behind him. I stopped Silas with one hand, shrugged indifferently, signaling that I was fine. What I am has nothing to do with you. The shameless ones are you, Caleb, and that woman you're protecting. You too, this pair of scoundrels, what right do you have to bark in front of me? Sabrina was feeling extremely wronged at that moment, grabbing Caleb's arm with both hands, tears welling up in her eyes, and her teeth tightly biting her lower lip. I didn't have time to watch her act, so I pulled Silas and walked away. Sorry for ruining your good mood, I said awkwardly on the way to the hot pot restaurant. As I spoke, I looked up at his expression. He seemed quite happy, not affected at all by those two. These past few days, I didn't rush to find a job. I spent my days eating and drinking, occasionally going out with Silas for a stroll. Life was quite carefree. However, the happy days didn't last long before trouble found me. That day, I was slumped on the sofa, snacking and playing on my phone, when suddenly there was a knock at the door. Without much thought, I opened it and was surprised to see Caleb. The moment I saw him, my expression changed and I tried to slam the door shut. But he anticipated my reaction and raised his hand to hold the door open. The difference in strength between men and women forced me to face reality, standing at the door listening to his nonsense. Alara, why haven't you been going to work lately? I asked the boss, and he said you resigned. Have you even given up on your dreams? You know that was my dream too. When I gave you my work, didn't you know it was my dream? When you put your name on my work, didn't you know it was my dream? Yes, I gave it to you willingly. But what did I get in return for giving you my dream? I got your betrayal. But I don't want to say any of this. This love was a complete deception, a self-delusion. It has nothing to do with you anymore. Leave, and don't come back. At that moment, I was expressionless. He seemed to understand something, his expression turning somewhat abnormal. He looked a bit lost, but that had nothing to do with me. I closed the door. That day, I made a decision. I decided to leave this place, taking my parents with me. Both my dad and mom supported my decision. They had long been enjoying their retirement life, and we took this opportunity to find a city suitable for my parents to spend their retirement. Aunt Nora learned about this and warmly invited us to her current city. The climate there is pleasant, and my mother was very willing to go. Our family smoothly left the city. On the day we left, the weather was clear and sunny. With Silas's help, we successfully arrived at the new city. We have since taken root and grown here. After settling down, I began a new journey. I will never give up on my dreams, I will shine and make a difference in my new position. It wasn't long before I found a new job. This time, all my inspiration served only myself, and I alone enjoyed all the results. Without those troublesome matters, my parents became more cheerful. Their only worry was my single status. One night, Mom came to my room for a heart-to-heart talk. Alara, Mom wants to ask you, what are your plans for the future? Your father and I have discussed it, and whatever decision you make, we will support you. I understood what Mom meant and was deeply moved by my parents' support. I reached out and hugged Mom. Mom, don't worry, I've long let go of that matter. As for the future, I'll take it one step at a time. If I meet someone I like, I'll work hard for it. After saying this, I saw my mom quietly exhale in relief. However, now the image of Silas suddenly appeared in my mind, and I was a bit confused. Just in time, I have something to tell you. A smile spread across my mom's face, no longer as cautious as when she first came in. What do you think of Silas? Aunt Nora said she likes you and wants you to be her daughter-in-law. He's someone we've watched grow up, and your dad and I couldn't be more satisfied with him. I was shocked by my mom's words and forgot to respond for a moment. Seeing this, my mom covered her mouth and chuckled quietly, making me feel a bit awkward. Then she left the room, saying she'd give me time to think it over. If nothing unexpected happens, I'm going to have a sleepless night tonight. Silas is wonderful. Since meeting him again, he has been taking care of me in every way. He is naturally very attractive, and he can cook and do housework, which is truly appealing to me. The more I think about it, the more I feel my face flush and my heart race. The next day, sure enough, I left the house with panda eyes. As soon as I went downstairs, he was waiting outside. I honestly didn't know where to put my hands and feet, but he was just as usual. We had planned to go out today, but because of something my mom said yesterday, I felt especially uneasy. Just as I was feeling anxious, we arrived at the place. At that moment, I still hadn't noticed that this wasn't our original destination. Getting out of the car, I realized that the surroundings were decorated with many fresh flowers and balloons, creating a warm and beautiful scene. Silas led me to the center, and just as I was puzzled, he knelt on one knee and asked me to be his girlfriend. It turned out that he had liked me since we were kids, but later he moved away and never had the chance to express his feelings to me. Later on, when he found out about my engagement, he still didn't dare to contact me, afraid that seeing me would make him do something he couldn't control. In his pain and despair, he then received some good news that made him happy. He couldn't hold back anymore and came back here. I am grateful that after all the twists and turns, we ended up together. Not long after, Silas and I entered the hall of marriage. After we got married, he remained consistent and treated me very well. After 2 years of life as a couple, we had a daughter named Alara. That day, I was heavily pregnant and went for a prenatal checkup with Silas when we ran into Caleb at the hospital. After several years, he no longer had the youthful vigor he once did. There was an undeniable air of decline about him. When he saw me, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he rushed over. Silas, quick-eyed and quick-handed, shielded me behind him. Caleb's eyes were fixed tightly on my belly, somewhat incredulous. I saw the light in his eyes seem to go out. Alara, how are you pregnant? Whose child is it? Please don't leave me, okay? I've been searching for you everywhere all these years. Watching the man in front of me weep bitterly, I felt an unusual calm inside. Silas called security to take him away. That night, he held me for a long time, unwilling to let go. He said he was glad Caleb had done something bad.